So,
All right.
first things first, how are you?
I'm doing good. Just arrived here to Germany last night, so beautiful weather. It's great.
Okay. Before we talk about the record, I'd like to go back quickly. Do you remember the first album you ever bought with your own money?
Yeah, I was very young. I don't remember how young, but I want to say that it was probably the Beach Boys.
Okay.
Maybe, I must have been, I don't know, 5th grade, 6th grade maybe or something, very young. Mm-hmm. But there was a song, 409, that they played. It had a car motor rubbing in it and stuff, and it was catchy. And for me, I was a kid, so I was into that and stuff I seen on TV, like the Monkees or something like that. Those are the kind of the records I was buying then.
Okay. And well, in hindsight, what is your opinion of the Beach Boys now?
Well, it brings me back good memories because of that, and they're always a fun, happy band. So it's kind of like fun party listening music. Just takes me back when everybody was young. You didn't have any worries in the world. You're living at home, no bills. Everything's just wake up and having fun every day as a kid.
At that point, did you already think of going into music? Was that already on your mind?
A little bit started, Yeah, I have older brothers and they were into music and they were playing, my oldest brother was playing guitar and he was into like Crosby, Stills and Nash and like Led Zeppelin and stuff like that. So I was kind of turned on to music and just fascinated by, he was playing guitar and also had a harmonica and he's playing them both and singing, and I thought it was pretty cool, at the time. So of course, that's when you pick up the guitar, the tennis racket, and you're pretending you're playing the guitar at the tennis racket. Yeah, and that crossed your mind, it looked like something fun and different.
And well, you mentioned the Beach Boys, Crosby, Stills and Nash. When did the louder stuff come into it?
Well, my first thing was probably Kiss.
Okay.
I got to go to a Kiss concert in 1976 when I was 12 years old.
Okay.
13 years old. Went to see my first Kiss concert, and we got dropped off, me and some cousins, in San Francisco for the concert. And that was like my very first big, big show where a lot of lights, Gene Simmons blowing fire and spitting blood, and our first time really being around a lot of pot. People were smoking pot around us and stuff. Right. And so at that point I was like, wow, I want to do that. And we made our way down into the front, and I had a white t-shirt on. I had Gene Simmons spit blood on me. Okay. So I was like, wow, Gene Simmons, that's it. So it was so intense and it was so bigger than life that that's kind of like, I want to be like Gene,
And at that moment, you say you were 12, did you know you had a voice?
No. So I was a guitar player.
Sure.
I started playing guitar when I was interested in music. I wanted to play Michael Schenker when I was younger. That was who inspired me guitar player wise. I didn't know I was going to be a singer until one day I went to my little brother's rehearsal. They had a band called Rampage, and each guy in the band sang one song or another. And I went to rehearsal one day and they threw me the lyrics, said, here, you sing today. And I sang, and at the end of the day, they're, all right, you're going to be the new singer. Okay. So I don't know how to do that. So I decided to go back to school and take music classes and guitar classes, singing classes. And then I pursued taking some private lessons in San Francisco and Berkeley. And so I started try to learn how do I become a singer, and kind of took it from there and took about 2 years of vocal training and classes. And when I finished that's when I was like, okay, now I'm going to find a band. I'm ready, to find a band now. And I lived an hour away from the Bay Area, which like Berkeley and Oakland, San Francisco is where all the music was happening. So we had to travel there. So I'm like, I'm gonna have to go to the Bay Area to try to find a band so I could perform in the Bay Area. And that's when Steve Souza, who's in Exodus, was in Legacy. He was the first singer, and he was friends with my younger brother. And he came over one day and said, "Hey man, I'm leaving Legacy to join Exodus. You know, here's Alex Skolnick's phone number. Why don't you give him a call and audition for these guys? They're going to be needing a singer."
Sure.
So, you know, and that style of music was new to me then. I didn't really understand thrash metal or faster music. Because I was older, I came from a generation where it was more, you know, like Dokken or Rad or stuff like that, more harder, heavier rock.
Right.
So that's kind of how that whole thing happened. I went and auditioned for the band, learned 3-song demo, went and auditioned, and they weren't sure because they knew what background I came from, but they still also kind of liked the fact that I was kind of melodic and I was a screamer. I had a higher voice and I'd scream a lot more. They liked that, so they said, you know, they took a chance with me, and I got the gig.
Okay.
And I kind of walked into the record deal because they had a record deal with Steve. And when I joined the band, they asked the company, Megaforce Records, you know, we still have a deal. And they made me to go do a demo. So I did 3-song demo, sent it to them, and they liked it. And that's when they came out to fly out to see us and listen to the rehearsal. And that was kind of an unusual day too, because that day they got there for the rehearsal, they were really tired, and we'd found out they'd been up all night because that was the night before they got the news that the Metallica bus crashed and Cliff had passed away that night before. So the next day everybody was really sad, and you know, we're auditioning to get a record deal, and it was just a really weird mood.
Sure.
But at the end of it, they liked it, and they said, "Sure, we still have a deal." So I kind of walked in. My first audition, got the gig, right into a record deal. Okay. So it doesn't happen like that often.
Well, it's interesting because you say you came from a different musical background. What was your impression of the band, of Legacy, at that moment?
Well, I didn't understand it, and they were much younger than me. I was 22, 23 years old. Alex was like 15 and 16, 15, 16, and the other guys were probably 18, 19. So they were still kids to me. Sure. And the style of music was something that I didn't quite understand yet. You know, I knew who Metallica was and all that, but I didn't, because I came from a different background. The vocals and lyrics patterns didn't make sense to me, or I didn't understand it, I guess, until I got into the band and I had to learn that demo. So I really studied that demo, and once I got the demo down, and Eric helped me a lot, he would coach me through and help me learn how to sing to the time and the speed of the song. So I kind of just got thrown into it and learned it really quick, you know. And Steve already had all the songs written for that first record. So I kind of had to come in and study what he did and sing his lyrics and the songs. So I learned really fast. Right. You know, within a year, I had all the songs down, rehearsed for a year, and then at that point, I got it. You know, and I understood it going into the second record, The New Order.
Was there a moment, maybe a song or a performance where you thought, okay, now I have it?
After the demo, because you know, I'd never really done demos before or recordings before. Never heard myself on recordings before.
Sure.
So I didn't know, you know, and me and Zet have two different voices and styles. So when I did the demo, I tried to stick to what I do. I knew melody a little bit and tried to make it melodic and try to sing a little bit. So I think at that point, going into hearing myself recording and hearing the songs that Zet did, you know, I was fired up because, you know, my first recording, wow, that's what I sound like, and it was all new. It was all new to me, you know.